author of Tripping Over Canvases, How to Open Your Own Art Gallery with No Experience, and art director here at Above Art Studios, located at 55 Moore Street, downtown New Brunswick, New Jersey. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of the Art Life Podcast, where we bridge the artists and the art money. With us today is a special friend of mine. We actually have Sasha-Loriene McLean here. She is the CEO and founder of Black Girls Who Paint. And she's gonna walk us through today a little bit about her artist administrator journey. How you doing today, Sasha?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me today as well.
No problem, no problem. We appreciate the time. Definitely see you got a couple of pieces popping in the background. I like that.
Yes, always.
And then more or less or the same level of creativity and productivity since the quarantine and COVID and all that?
I wouldn't say more or less. I would say a different kind. Quarantine has been, I feel like 2020 was a super long year. It was really hard, like on a mental level, financial level, as well as like an artistic level. And I really got the time to kind of like sit down and reflect what I want out of my own art practice, as well out of Black Girls Who Paint and like any of my creative projects. So I would say I learned what alignment really means, the true essence of alignment and what I want to do with Black Girls Who Paint moving forward, not just, being a brand. I want it to be more of an organization that has a legacy that truly does help actual like Black girls and women who paint. So I would say it's been different.
That's definitely the one right there, different. So let's talk a little bit about personal artistry and projects that you have going on before we get into the organization a little bit. When did you start producing art?
So I grew up kind of producing art in a way. I was really, really shy and introverted as a child. And I found that not only was I like inclined to like drawing and painting, and I was really good at it at a young age, but it also helped me like communicate. I never was really good with words until I got a little bit older and better with words, but with paintings, I feel like there's just a different kind of dimension that you can tap into, that you can express how you're feeling when you can't really verbalize it as efficiently as you can, like when you create. So I would say like from a young child, but I would say after college around 2012 is when I actually started showing my art. If you went to college with me, you wouldn't know that I was an artist unless you were like one of my close friends. But after I graduated, because I did economics, after I graduated, I did City Year. It's like a nonprofit. It's a nonprofit AmeriCorps program in New York City. So I moved to New York City, 21, in like a more artsy area. I'm from Maryland, like the DC area, the DMV. And it's very much so about politics and like corporate America in there. Like all of my friends, we all, have our graduate degrees. We were all either in the government, in the law field, or doctors, but I didn't really know any artists that were kind of like me, that were more self-taught, that weren't able to go to school for art. So I was trying to do like that corporate field for a long time. But when I went to New York City, that's when I was like, wow, it's actually okay. And it's actually cool to be myself. That was the first time where I was like, oh yeah, I do paint. And yeah, I do want to do a mural. And I worked with the kids painting as well. So I would say around 21 is when I actually started sharing my art and getting involved in the arts community in New York City as well, because I moved back afterwards, as well as DC and Maryland.
What did you go to school for?
I went to school for economics, and then I got my master's in public administration. Ironically, I've always wanted to help the kids. I started doing education policy. I used to work in the Department of Education. And then I just found that every organization I worked in, it wasn't really aligned with the mission. It's kind of like bureaucratic in that way. And I was tired of kind of like dimming my light down as an artist. I always used to joke like with my coworkers, we're all around like the same age. But if we all went to like happy hour, even at working, I looked like an artist and they looked like they worked there. I didn't really look like I worked there. And then in 2000, I think it was 2018, that's when I decided that I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done trying to live other people's expectations. I'm done trying to live a life that does not align with me at all. So I decided I quit my job. Actually, my lease in my apartment ended. I moved back in with my mom and my dad, and I decided to pursue my art there. I think I quit maybe 2 months afterwards, but my mom thought I was gonna like, do a year. And I was like, nah, tricked you, put you in the trick bag. I'm quitting right now. So I quit March 2018 and I've been painting and then, managing Black Girls Who Paint in my own creative projects ever since.
Nice. So, well, what mediums are you working with?
So that's a good question. I'm actually in a phase where I'm trying different mediums now. I always worked with acrylics. I've done oil paintings before, but I'm working more so with oil as well as pastels and doing more like expressive kind of art. So I'm moving away from the realism and I'm trying to do more expressive work. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now.
Okay. Like expanding your horizons and picking up new techniques and skills. Always a fan of that. What was like your first couple of steps, if you can recall, once you decided that you were going to go, full time with your art, but you realized you obviously need to bring in some type of income. What were your first couple of steps into that transition from, an employee into full time artistry?
I would say for at least my corporate career, I was saving a lot of money at the same time. I was making money and saving money, and I don't really go out unless it's like I travel. I tend to travel more, so I was able. If I'm not traveling, I'm most likely in the house. I'm a homebody, and so I was able to save a lot of money that helped me with my transition. And then I also I bartended. I did a couple of odd jobs, and then I was able to land. I worked part-time at a gallery. I was the office manager at a gallery for about a year or so. And then, yeah, I actually just left the end of last year or the end of 2019. So for all of 2020, I was a full-time artist as like the definition. Like I wasn't really working outside of my art, outside of commissions and stuff like that.
So how many years now have you been full time artist?
I would say I quit my corporate job, my full-time corporate job 2018. After that, I did like a couple of part-time jobs just so I wouldn't just be sitting and spending all of my savings. So I did have like some money coming in from my part-time job as well as commissions. And then in December 2019, I left my position at the gallery, and I've been doing Black Girls Who Paint for full time and then painting for commissions as well. So I would say about a year, like fully just being supported by my art.
And were you ever able to move out of the parents' house, or you still plotting?
Oh, I'm still here. I'm still plotting. They can't get rid of me, okay? But that is the goal, is to, because I originally told my mom 2 years. Now I've approached the 30. I didn't want to be 30 still living in the basement. They basically gave me the whole basement. So I have my room, I have the living room, and then I have my studio here. But the goal is not to put myself on a timeline anymore, because I feel like a lot of people are really hard on benchmarks, and I did turn 30 during the pandemic, so it's like I can't really just, you know, move as freely as I would like to. But the goal is within the next couple of years to get out of here. I actually want to move out of this area and more of a creative environment. Don't know where, but I do know that I eventually do want to move some.
Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at the gallery? Like, was it worthwhile first and foremost, and you know, a couple of things you might have learned?
Yeah, I would say I learned a lot from working at the gallery. There's one thing I will not take away from my experience of just learning, because before I was always, I don't even like, before I was more of like a self-taught artist. I didn't understand that I didn't really understand what it meant to like invest in yourself as an artist, because I feel like a lot of artists think we know everything. It's hard to hear feedback sometimes when you think like, oh, this is prolific, like this is amazing. And it's not that somebody doesn't like it or anything like that, but I feel like especially if you don't have any like formal education in the arts, it definitely that's in one area it helped me. It also helped me in terms of Black girls who paint and putting more organization into the business side of it, but also the membership side of it as well. And what I truly want to give back to like my community is to help them like through the gallery process, through the application, the proposals, even writing. So yeah, I feel like it helped me get a lot of structure, a lot of organization. And then I also got to meet with like actual stakeholders and like the board and everything, and really understand how arts administration works. And I was able to apply it to my own business. So.
It sounds like you might have been blessed by doing that versus going to school for art in itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, business school doesn't actually teach you how to run a business per se.
Mm-hmm.
Very anything. So I always a fan of the hand-on experience, and you know, growing from being on the inside and seeing what's done right and what's done wrong, where improvements might be able to be made. So, but now, so you have your own gallery now, right? You have a virtual gallery, correct?
Yeah, it's transitioned into that this year. I'm trying to actually figure out because I know for me, I have a lot of ideas and I want to do this, that, and the third. And I'm actually trying to streamline things and organize them. So it will be relaunched a little bit, maybe in the spring or so, but we do have a directory. That's what one of my main goals was, trying to figure out who like the Black woman artist was, because growing up in a predominantly Black area, I was able to see, you know, business owners, I was able to see Black doctors, Black lawyers, Black everything, but I didn't really see Black artists, and I didn't really see Black women artists, especially in DC, you know, how it was known as Chocolate City, but you go to the museums and most of the artwork is not by, one, it's not by women, and then two, it's not by Black women. So that was my whole thing, is like, how can I live in an area that everyone, for the most part, looks like me? I was always a part of the majority, but I don't really see myself in the arts. And I wanted to kind of be what I lacked. That's what I want Black girls to be, Black girls who paint to be. It's kind of what I would have wanted to see as a young girl. Because if I would have seen myself in places where I wanted to go, I think I would have actually prepared and steered my life more towards the arts at a younger age, as opposed to, you know, leaving my job at 27 and having like a mid or quarter life crisis, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now with the directory. And I want to be able to have like a community of Black women artists that have sustainable careers, whether they are artists, art administrators, or even just being seen. That's like my whole thing, is just being seen and being visible and normalizing Blackness in the arts.
Nice. I like that mission and those objectives. So Black girls who paint, You said you started at what year?
So I started it September 4th, 2017.
Okay.
So we're
And
3 years in now.
yeah, you guys are definitely moving strong. And I had heard about Black Girls Who Paint, you know, a while before, you know, we were ever introduced to each other. So that's definitely saying something. I mean, I do keep my ear to the ground as much as I can, but I think it probably would have, you know, came across, you know, my reality in some way, shape, or form, you know, regardless if I wasn't out looking for things. So I commend you on that. So it seems to have some legs of its own. I noticed you guys have a nice social media following. What are you on now on IG?
You said, what am I on now? What do you mean by that?
On IG, how many followers you got right now? You got a million yet?
We have over 102,000, over 100,000 followers. Yeah. So we've been building every year, because I remember my first year anniversary, I think we hit 20,000. Our second, then we hit 60,000, and then our third, we hit 100,000. So it's been an exponential growth. It's been a little faster than what I expected, but like I feel like that's how you know it's necessary, it's needed, because it's not just me who feels like this. It's a lot of people who feel like this, and they wanna see artwork from Black women artists. So yeah, it's been a process.